Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. Sławomir N, former Minister of Transport in the government of Civic Platform and the Polish People's Party and a close associate of Donald Tusk, has been arrested along with two other people by the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau. The investigation, conducted jointly with the Prosecutor's Office and anti-corruption services in Ukraine, concerns the activity of N in Poland between 2016 and 2019 as the head of the Ukrainian government agency responsible for road construction. Tonight, the detainees are to be questioned by the Prosecutor's Office in Warsaw. It is possible that they will be charged with several counts of corruption and money laundering. Sławomir N, head of the Ukrainian government agency dealing with road construction, former minister in the Donald Tusk government, Dariusz Z, former head of the Polish SEALs, the Special Forces, and Jacek P, a businessman from Gdansk, were arrested this morning in the northern Polish city of Gdansk. The arrest was in connection with the continuing investigation of corruption and money laundering, which has been run in parallel by Ukrainian and Polish anti-corruption agencies since 2017. The initial interrogations are scheduled tonight in Warsaw, after which the men might be charged with multiple counts of money laundering and corruption. These men have been arrested in connection with investigations of organised crime, money laundering and corruption. Tonight we plan to formulate charges against them and conduct initial hearings. The investigation was conducted by Polish and Ukrainian anti-corruption services. The core of the alleged crime was the help Sławomir N allegedly offered unofficially to the road construction companies which were not able to meet the deadlines of their projects. For a sizable amount of money, he helped them to avoid paying hefty penalties. The money was transferred to companies created in Poland, increasing their net worth. A few months ago, we made a joint decision with our Ukrainian counterparts to create a special team to investigate this case. They were in close contacts and exchanged vital details of the investigation on a continuing basis. I can say that on the Polish side, the driving force was the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau, which has gathered the greatest number of documents in the evidence file. The legal problem started for Sławomir N 7 years ago, when he was a minister in Donald Tusk's government. At that time, he allegedly failed to list a very expensive watch in his report for the Parliamentary Register of Assets. In May 2013, Sławomir N was charged with perjury in his parliamentary financial report. In November 2013, he gave up his parliamentary immunity and stepped down from his ministerial post in Donald Tusk's government. Donald Tusk himself stated at the time that he hoped for a speedy end to the misunderstanding and his return to his cabinet post. Sławomir N was hired as head of the Ukrainian government agency dealing with road construction in 2016. Soon after that, he received Ukrainian citizenship. In September 2019, the Ukrainian Minister of Industry gave notice that N would be soon dismissed from his post. Finally, N quit the job himself. The European Union Leaders Summit on the new budget and the rules for distributing €750 billion among member states as part of the plan for Europe's economic recovery after the coronavirus pandemic, which began on Friday, was resumed at 6 p.m. this evening. Negotiations are very difficult. The cause of the conflict between the Netherlands, Austria, Denmark, Sweden on the one hand and the countries of southern Europe on the other are the non-refundable grants provided for in the plan. Today, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki spoke about Polish negotiating priorities during the summit. I can comment on the basic parameters now. It is the negotiated amount of money which was forced by the group of the meanest and most selfish countries. This is how I should comment on our talks which were ended before 6 p.m. Now, the proposed amount of money is €390 billion in grants. On the one hand, the amount which we call credits and the amount of money in grants are some kind of a debt contracted by the entire European Union. The credit amount is contracted by member states which agree to contract that debt. It is worth knowing how this mechanism works from the financial standpoint. Later on, this mechanism is being divided between individual countries according to specific parameters. Now the amount of €390 billion. It was €500 billion before. This is a huge difference. The reason why we took part in these negotiations today is the fact that the European Union got in trouble after the coronavirus pandemic, and comparing it to other large areas in the world, these are very big problems. A group of countries of the so-called Old Union is pushing to link EU funding to the rule of law criteria. Poland and several other member states are against this. The mechanism of linking the EU funding with subjectively determined rule of law criteria has been harshly criticised by the Polish Minister of Justice, Zbigniew Ziobro. The largest country in the European Union, together with the European Commission, have decided to propose new rules which would allow the European Commission to block billions of euro of EU funding due to an arbitrary view on the rule of law in member states. They decided this in opposition to the EU treaties and also, ironically, in violation of the rule of law. I must state this clearly. If this proposal comes to life, it would be the greatest power any European institution has ever had over member states. Polish police and city officials have condemned the riots and vandalism that broke out in the early hours of Saturday morning after a large open-air party. A large group of migrant men attacked police patrols who arrived at the scene to help a man who had been assaulted by the crowd. 39 people were arrested and 5 police officers had to be treated for injuries sustained at the scene. Around 3,000 people have been attending a party in the city's Opera Square. Police were called to intervene after a fight broke out at the scene. Video clips on social media showed people throwing objects at the police, smashing windows and building barricades on streets. Markus Frank, Chief of Security in Frankfurt, condemned the attack. I would first like to make clear that we condemn the actions that took place from Saturday night into Sunday morning, and we particularly condemn the cowardly attack on our police. Police arrived at the Opernplatz to help a person lying injured on the ground, and it is unacceptable that people who are helping others in need are themselves attacked. The Chief of Security also stated that the city will take measures to stop the unrest from recurring. We, as the City of Frankfurt, intend to prohibit entry to Frankfurt's Opernplatz on Fridays and Saturdays as of midnight, and from 1 a.m. the Opernplatz will be closed to the public. We will do this at this time to send a clear signal to any troublemakers who are out and about that it is not worth coming to Frankfurt. The attackers have been described as partygoers, but the Chief of Police also confirmed that most of the rioters were immigrants. The perpetrators were mostly between 17 and 23 years old. The 39 perpetrators had mostly immigrant backgrounds from various countries, from Syria, Afghanistan, Turkey, Spain and Morocco, with no one country dominant. 38 of the perpetrators were male, with 1 woman, and most of the people in that group are known to the police. The city of Stuttgart was also rocked by hours-long riots in late June as up to 600 young, mostly migrant men, clashed with the police and looted stores in the city centre. There is now growing pressure on German Chancellor Angela Merkel to take action to stop the riots from spreading. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.